Hey guys, okay. The question everyone always asks themselves is, can anyone do triathlon? You can start triathlons, yes, but before we talk about it, subscribe to our channel, click on the bell to receive notifications, and let's talk about this beginning. Most people who hear about triathlon are intimidated by the thought of having to train 3 modalities. Different. And you end up thinking that triathlon is a very difficult sport. It's not easy. This puts a lot of people off starting, but it's not. It wasn't meant to be like that because anyone can do triathlons. There is no prerequisite, there is no minimum necessary condition. An order or a rule that must be followed. The only thing you need is time to prepare the discipline, organization, and motivation to actually get to do the triathlon. It doesn't matter if you are sedentary, can't swim, or are overweight. And it doesn't matter if you have a fancy bike. No need for a Neo outfit, prize, and other props you see the Triata guys wearing around. Triatria looks like a peacock liking it. We like to appear, and if the packaging says aero and the 10 seconds are over, we will buy it and go crazy, wanting to have this equipment, this material anyway. Yeah, you should get technical help. The best way to ensure that you are training properly is to hire a triathlon coach, right? Or advice you're going to start 3 new sports. That's it. Doing everything one way. Anyway, it's not going to make things work out for you. The chance of this going very wrong is great. Therefore, the importance of having a triathlon coach is imperative. It is essential to make sure that you are doing it right. I'm out of shape. How can I do a triathlon? Let's talk about the main distances that make up the triathlon. Triathlon is in the following order: swimming, cycling, running. The sprint or short has 750 meters of swimming, 20 kilometers of pedal race, and 5 kilometers of running the Olympic distance or standard, which is what makes up the Olympics. It has 1.5 kilometers of swimming, 40 kilometers of pedaling, and 10 kilometers of running. Then the distance is half. I was the month 70.3, 1.9 kilometers swimming, 90 kilometer pedaling, and 21 kilometer running. Finally, the most famous, which is Ironman, 140.6 miles away. Ironman is 3.8 kilometers of swimming, 180 kilometers of biking, and 42.2 kilometers of running. It's a marathon. That said, so first, forget Iron Maiden. You're not going to start with Iron Maiden. Forget it. No, come on. If you don't have a great track record as a recent athlete, you haven't been a super athlete for quite some time. It's not recommended to start thinking about doing an Iron Maiden. Well, it is. I always say start with the small races that won't require a lot of training time, like the sprint distance or even the super sprint, which is even smaller, and I didn't mention it here. Everyone, or almost everyone, is angry. Doing an Ironman is a great glory, but you need to be restrained in your ambitions because you will see that the hole is much lower. It is much more difficult than we imagine. Definitely starting with an Ironman is not the smartest choice you can make. In my opinion, it's best to start with the sprint distance. It's a quick test, and with a few months of training, even starting from scratch, okay? To complete your first challenge, which is to arrive, just arrive. That's it. For most people, the hardest will be swimming, or in some cases running too, or both. If you can't swim, swimming will obviously be the most challenging part of the event, and there is no shortage of reasons for this. And only I as a coach, release students or novice athletes to do a triathlon. If you are already swimming in the sea, open water at least 3/4 of the distance of the race without stopping, and in the pool at 1,000 meters, 3/4 of the distance in a sprint will represent 560 meters more or less, which means that the athlete has already skirted practically all the buoys and is close to arriving. Running is a big problem for those who are on top of the weight, but if you meet the minimum training before debuting in the distance and sprint always starting by the sprint, the 5 kilometers you will be able to cover without major problems. On the bike, the distance can seem terrifying, something infinite almost impossible to complete, plus 120 counts. You who already know how to ride a bike, just a little training without much complexity, and you will be ready to meet the goal of arriving and completing the sprint. But get it out of your head and don't even think about debuting walking in a vacuum or a platoon. This will be crazy and will bring a lot of trouble for you. Accidents, literally. Bike training is great for increasing physical fitness and endurance, in addition to helping with weight loss without risk of injury, and different from what can occur in running, okay? That's another question. I can't swim. For those who can't swim, I can't swim. This is the biggest obstacle for you to create. And you need to know how to swim to complete a no-no. As I said before, you have to overcome your fears of the sea, open water, and be safe to swim much of the distance without fear that you won't be able to. You have to believe that you are capable, and a coach has to give you the endorsement freeing you for this. If you do not know how to swim, I recommend that you look for a swimming school to learn, and only then will you be able to participate in a triathlon. I find it very interesting to participate in swimming events before leaving for the triathlon itself, precisely to become familiar with the start vortex and swim in open water. There is a dynamic within the test. Not knowing how to swim is not an impediment to training, okay? Anyone can learn to swim and will learn to swim as an adult. That's a fact. Anyone can do it. What about the equipment? Yes, you will need to make some investment. And this is where the big problem of triathlon lies, which limits the practice of the sport for many. As much as we want to save money, it's an expensive sport. There's no way. The bike alone is expensive. Especially now with the rising dollar. As things stand, you don't need to start by buying a super bike against the clock, but you will need a bike. If you're going to participate in events such as sprint and Olympic distance, a simple bike road, an entry cap will meet very well. At least it will serve you with little investment to know if you really want to continue doing triathlon or not. And nowadays there are some places, even companies, that rent bikes, and this can also be 11 option, a facilitator for you to participate in Uniprova. If you don't have a bike, what you need is a bike that is your size. Then you will need the help of 1B Fit or your coach to guide you in relation to this. Helmet, running shoes, swimming goggles, shorts and shirt for running and cycling. Water bottle and a flat tire repair kit. That kind of thing there. During the bike part, that would be the basics of the basics. To be participating in a race and start little by little. It will be the best way for you, and gradually you will invest in better equipment, something new, and get it right little by little so that it no longer insults another video, okay? I hope I have been able to be clear with you quickly and simply. So remembering, leave your join her subject suggestions to talk here. Follow us on Instagram, @valutry on Facebook. Hug and let's talk, guys. Thanks.